Oh, I can't with this question. I swear to God, I'm going to lead off this mailbag with a absolute laughable one. No disrespect to the person asking it. Let's go ahead and get to the mailbag. If you've got any sports-related questions you want answered in a future YouTube video, just drop me a comment in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on any of my social media platforms, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. It's the Notorious JP. Be sure to put that additional E in the word the. All right, let's go ahead and get to this whopper of a question. I can't hold this in any longer. This from @TheSportsSavages on Twitter. JP, the XFL is back. Glad to see it. Here's an idea to spruce things up. XFL champ faces the NFL team with the worst record at the end of the XFL season. XFL team wins, they get moved up. NFL team gets relegated to the XFL for the next season. What say you? I say that's a fucking horrible idea. Come on. I don't know if you're serious or you're trolling me with this. All right, no disrespect. Let's stop and think about this for a moment, shall we? Okay. I want you to look back at the history of Spring League football. And I want you to name me the number of leagues that have lasted a decade. Can you do it? Hell, look at the last 5 years. I'd like you to name me the number of leagues that have survived to see year 2. The only one I'm aware of is the USFL in its reincarnation. This league just relaunched for the 3rd time. Now, granted, I get it. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is running things, not Vince McMahon. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has much more of a business acumen outside of the world of professional wrestling / sports entertainment than Vince does. I get it. Okay? It's spring football. This is a league that in 2 different previous incarnations did not even survive to see season 2. I understand. XFL 2.0 had their league canceled due to circumstances in the world beyond their control, but they were losing money. Okay? Vince would not have folded up shop for coronavirus otherwise. The XFL is never going to be anything, if it survives, other than a alternative that we can watch in the spring and give us something to quench our thirst on the field between the Super Bowl, the Pro Bowl, and the kickoff of the preseason. That's it. Okay? The concept of the XFL champion playing the worst team in the NFL, the team with the worst record, and it being even remotely competitive for a quarter is laughable. Laughable. And I know some people out there will say, well, people said the same thing about the AFL back in the day and before the Jets came. It's a different world, a different ball game, okay? The XFL's not trying to compete with the NFL, guys, okay? Dwayne realizes that. These are all guys that could not barely make practice squad rosters in the National Football League. And let me tell you, if you think right now that the Chicago Bears are going to risk going down to the XFL, the probably second most storied franchise in NFL history behind only Green Bay, is going to risk going to the XFL and getting replaced by the freaking St. Louis Battlehawks or the San Antonio Brahmas or the Orlando Guardians or whoever the hell else is in that league, you're out of your mind. What would be in it for the NFL team? Tell me that. You don't get moved down? Okay. And we're going to blast the doors off this fucking team. Come on. Let's just allow the XFL to be what it is. Let's hope that it lasts 5 seasons. Let's hope it lasts. The Rock is my dude, okay? I have nothing but the utmost admiration and respect for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as a man, as a professional, as a former wrestler, current wrestler, whatever. I have nothing but respect for him. I hope this knocks it out of the park and it becomes the Spring Football League. But I am absolutely not interested in this foolish garbage of seeing the XFL champ go out there and get the doors beat off them by the worst team in the National Football League. Sorry, no. Question number 2, Michael. from Facebook. Finally making the jump to fantasy baseball after years of reluctance and lack of interest. Can you tell me the difference between a keeper and a dynasty league? Which one should I join? And if you have the chance to pick somebody at number 2 overall, because that's what I'm being offered, who would you take? Number 1, the keeper, difference between keeper and dynasty. Keeper, you get a select number of players. Whatever your commissioner says, whether it's 2, 5, 7, whatnot, usually it's not more than 10. I've never been in a league with more than 10 keepers, and that's pretty overkill. But that's a keeper league where you get to select however many players that the commissioner allows you, and if you come back to the league next year, you get to roll them over. They're yours. Dynasty, basically the team you draft is pretty much yours for as long as you want it. Now, you can make trades, you can make releases, signings, whatnot, but that team is yours. There's little room for adjustment. And it's fun. I mean, I do dynasty leagues. I'm in several dynasty leagues, 3 to be exact. And it leads for some interesting strategies because you will see these young stud prospects that everybody feels have a humongous future get drafted, some fairly highly. But you also, when you draft them, there is full knowledge that these guys will not see the field and do anything for your fantasy team for at least a year or 2 at minimum. All right, I'm seeing Jackson Holliday get drafted in dynasty leagues. I've seen, I've picked up Jordan Lawler. It can pay off in the end, absolutely. If you plan on committing to it and sticking around, the Hollidays, the Lawlers, the Drew Joneses, the Tamar Johnsons, these players that have just been drafted, or these 17, 18-year-old kids that, are being signed as international free agents, absolutely could wind up being huge dividends for you in the end. But then it gets hairy at times. When you've exhausted all your IL spots and you are in dire need of a pitcher, okay, and you have to be creative. You've got to be real creative with these leagues. You've got to really know baseball. You need to pick up a pitcher. You need to pick up a backup first baseman. You need to pick up an outfielder. You need to pick up something. What do? Do you cut your tried and true, the guy that can probably step in right then and there and give you something? Or do you cut this young stud that's, ranked number 1 in Baseball America's top 100 prospect list? I mean, that's a decision people have to make. It's the debate. Do you want to punt on the future for the now, or do you want to go for the future and focus on the now and make do with the now? I mean, it's enjoyable. It tests your baseball mettle. But if I'm you, and being you said at the beginning of this question, you had been reluctant and weren't interested in the past, I would avoid the Dynasty League format, at least until you determine whether fantasy baseball is for you. Okay, I'd avoid doing the keeper, to be blunt, too. I mean, I would just do a redraft league to where, your strategy is the same. You draft for guys that are going to help you win now, this year, immediately. I would avoid that keeper in dynasty format. Number 2 overall, unless, Shohei Ohtani slips through the cracks. If we're doing a redraft league, which I'm recommending for you, there's a number of different directions you can go, man. You can never go wrong with Vlad Guerrero Jr. I would avoid pitching, to be honest with you, too. I said the only pitcher I'm taking in that top 10, if I'm in the top 10, is Ohtani, because he doubles up as a bat and he can win a league for you as the bat and the pitching. But I wouldn't rule out Ronald Acuna. I mean, look, I know last year was a rough one for him, but this is a guy that's top 10 any normal year when he's not injured. Juan Soto, you can't go wrong with that. That's the direction I would look at. Any of those I mentioned, like I said, either Juan Soto, Vlad Guerrero Jr., or Ronald Acuna. That's my perspective on it. See, question number 3. What do you think? This is from Corey. What do you think of people that call wrestling fake? Are these people trying to reveal something? Do they think they're being fresh and edgy by telling us something we don't already know? Look, here's a little factoid. The curtain was pulled back on the fact that pro wrestling is pre-scripted and choreographed 30 years ago. Okay? We're all aware of that by now. I don't know why these people find the need to regurgitate it over and over again because we get entertainment by it. You get entertainment by something that's fake? Yeah. Are you going to sit there and tell me that all you watch, not you, Corey, but generally speaking, all you watch is the news, sports, the real stuff? Because let me tell you right now, 90% of the shit on television is fake. Okay? In case you guys didn't know, Bryan Cranston was never running around the fucking deserts of Albuquerque selling crystal meth. Going by the alias Walter White. Who cares? People want to watch pro wrestling? Yeah, we're aware it's fake. Quote, fake. I dare you to take a bump. I dare you to run the ropes. I dare you to put together a 2-minute match and tell me how fake it is. Believe me, those guys and gals beat the shit out of themselves for entertainment of us. So maybe it is pre-scripted. Maybe it's, predetermined. Maybe it's choreographed. Absolutely. Not denying that. Again, you're not revealing anything new here. But believe me, the shit that these folks do to themselves, it hurts. Believe me. You hit the ropes wrong when you're running the ropes, you'll be pissing blood out of your kidneys for a month. Trust me, I know. Let's see. Next question here comes from the NBA. And this is from Draven in Akron. Will my boy LeBron ever get his due? By his due, you mean will people ever think of him as better than Jordan? Some already do. Some already do. Okay? Some never will. You're not going to convince these people. There are people that will never get their preconceived notions of LeBron James out of the way. They will never get over the fact that he left for Miami, that he, quote, won his titles, end quote, by playing on stacked rosters. Okay? Lest we forget, Jordan did win titles with Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman, who weren't exactly bombs. I mean, Kobe won with Shaq. Larry Bird, who is my all-time favorite player, had Kevin McHale and, Robert Parrish, who, is a Hall of Famer in his own right. Danny Ainge, the late Dennis Johnson, who is ridiculously underrated historically. I mean, it's not like these other guys were playing with schmucks that came fresh out of the local YMCA 40 and over men's basketball league. So there are people that will never get off LeBron about that. There are people that will never get past LeBron's political views, which I don't give a fuck. Here's a memo. I don't care what somebody's political views are when I'm watching a basketball game. That's theirs, not mine. I'm not going to judge them any better or worse for them. Will people give LeBron his due? The ones that already do, yes. Those that don't, they're never going to. I'm afraid of that. They never will. Let's see. Dennis in Columbus. What sports arguments do you most despise? That the athletes of yesteryear couldn't make it today? I'm not going to bullshit you, man. I have seen in the last month Johnny Unitas discredited. I've seen Bill Russell discredited. I've seen Babe fucking Ruth discredited. I've seen people in the last 2 weeks sit there on a post on Twitter claiming that if Babe Ruth played now, he would be a backup journeyman in the minors. That is the most stupid motherfucking bullshit I've ever heard. Okay? You're going to sit there and tell me in a league where mid quarterbacks throw for 4,000 yards without trying. Okay? Is anybody, and I'm going to let you make your decision about what these quarterbacks are. Is anybody going to say that Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, would anybody say they're great quarterbacks? They've all put up 4,000 yard seasons. You're going to sit there and tell me in a pass-heavy league where you pass first, second, and third and run the football when optional unless you're a quarterback, with modern technology, modern coaching, and modern training, that Johnny Unitas wouldn't put up 4,500 plus yards a season in his sleep in a bad year? You're going to sit there and tell me in an era of baseball with the looted pitching staffs, every rule being adjusted by commissioners left and right to make it hitter-friendly, ballparks that are built for balls to fly over the freaking wall, and training methods that do not include throwing hay at the farm, chasing pigs and cutting down trees that Babe Ruth wouldn't hit 50 and 270? Please. Please. But people that do that garbage make me laugh because it shows how ignorant they are. Oh, Ruth was a drunk, fat slob, and yeah, look what Ruth did. Oh, well, they didn't throw the baseball but more than 70 miles an hour. Yeah, go look at some of the throws that Walter Johnson threw. I dare you to say that guy threw 70-mile-an-hour garbage, okay? I dare you to say Christy Mathewson had junk. Oh, by the way, Ruth played around the same time. Some jabron named Cy Young was in the league. There is an award named after the guy. He was called Cy, short for Cyclone, because he was breaking fences with his fucking fastball. But yeah, they were all garbage fucking pickers that couldn't throw shit. These people are so ignorant, it's laughable. Ruth would destroy baseball nowadays. Unitas would put up 4,500 in his sleep, and Bill Russell would be a 2020 guy with lack of defense and all defensive MVP. This guy would make Giannis look like a freaking beer leaguer. But you listen to some of these clowns, they win them out to nothing. That argument pisses me off. Anyway, we're at about the 16+ mark. I got to go, otherwise this won't allow me to upload. Until next time, I'm JP, and just remember, you can't be victorious unless you're notorious. Good day.